Hi, I'm Michelle Filipenko, and today we're here with Scott Rockins.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Scott.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, thanks for being here. So today we're talking about mortgages and different ways that you can use your mortgage to help build your wealth. And Scott has some great ideas about different strategies you can use to do that. So one of the questions that you might want to ask is, when people think of mortgages, they generally think of using them to purchase a home. So what are some of the best ways or some other ways that you can use equity in your home?
Okay, well, of course, many people think of their principal residence as an investment, and certainly it is. Mm-hmm. It'll grow in value over time,
right,
and they'll pay down their mortgage over time, and they'll end up with equity in their home, or owning more of their home. People tend to look at it that way. Mm-hmm. So there's a couple strategies you can use when you have some equity in your home that can help you improve your financial situation.
Right.
The most common strategy that people use is consolidation. Mm-hmm. So this is a strategy where you use the home equity in your home and you obtain a larger mortgage, and you use that mortgage to eliminate non-effective debt. So things like high interest rate credit cards, maybe unsecured lines of credit, car loans, student loans. It's different for every customer what they want to eliminate.
Right. Right, so there's various reasons that you could
people consolidate for lots of reasons. They might have been renovating their house, and it has nothing to do with bad debt. It's just one way or another, this is something a lot of people do. I would say most people do this with their mortgage over the life of it a few times. Mm-hmm. So the advantage of this is you take that high interest rate debt that might be at 12% or 20%, depends on if it's a store card, it could be very expensive.
Right.
And you bring it down to a mortgage rate, which is, at 4%, say, or, depends on the rates at the time. But what you're doing is saving yourself interest, so the benefits of that are quite clear.
Right.
Now, you can do it a couple ways. You can do it so that you have nice low payment, but you'll be paying that mortgage off over a long time. Mm-hmm. And what this does is free up money every month.
Right.
And so your cash flow increases, so you can have more money to build up savings for emergencies or invest for retirement or things like that.
Right.
So it's really freeing up cash flow. I would say most people do it this way, but there's another way to go about this that really helps you get ahead further. Is consolidate and then add up, how much was I paying for that car loan? How much was I paying on that credit card every month? How much was I paying on my old mortgage? And all my other bills. Make it one payment, but keep the payment high.
Right.
And what this will help you do is, because you're paying less interest rate, and you're taking that same amount of money you were using every month anyway, and applying it to your debt. You've taken on a larger mortgage, but now you're going to eliminate it faster.
Right. So in the first instance, you can, have a longer time horizon from which you're going to have to pay off that mortgage, but it's going to be lower, and it can allow you to, save some money. So you've got some liquid assets, and then, if something were to happen, you could.
You have something to fall back on rather than borrow.
Yeah,
right?
And then also you could, and again, if you're paying off you're able to pay off your debt faster, then that's great.
Yeah,
it gives you a opportunity to look for the future, right? If you want to have that paid off, then and feel sort of like that debt's gone, and it's great.
Really, a couple different ways that can go, but it's really beneficial for everyone to look into that. I'd say, especially right now when rates are really, really low compared to historically, make sure you tidy up that other debt. And there's going to be some changes in Canada too about consolidating and refinancing. So you used to be able to access 90% of your property's value, and it's going down to 85 on March 18th.
Right.
So that's to say, it's probably better to act on that sooner than later if you're thinking of doing it.
Right. So how are those changes going to affect people now?
Well, if you're refinancing, then you're just going to be able to access less of your home's value to take a larger mortgage. Basically, they'll only let you take a certain size of mortgage based on your property's value. So that's going to make it harder to refinance more debt. But it'll also protect your home equity. So that's why the government's doing it, and I think it makes a lot of sense. So, in Canada, you'll only be able to refinance to 85% of your home's value, and because of that, you'll always have 15% equity in your home. So whenever you go to sell that home, you're probably going to come away with some money in your pocket.
Right.
So that's really prudent, I think. And there's some other changes, too, as regards to amortization. So it could be before you could amortize your mortgage or take your mortgage over 35 years, and now it's going down to 30. And historically in Canada, 10, 15 years ago, it used to be 25 years. So we're just seeing a movement back to that more conservative style of lending. And in light of the world market, it's probably a good thing.
Right.
But it will affect what people can afford to buy and what people can afford to refinance and how they qualify for loans.
Right.
So all of this is going to happen in March.
Right.
So there's still time to act with the current rules. But there'll be lots of changes happening probably in the next 6 weeks. So.
But regardless of the changes, you can still use that equity to...
Absolutely. A lot of people who've had a home a long time have lots of equity to use.
Yeah.
And they may have some ineffective debt. So that's one thing you can do. Another couple strategies that I wanted to talk about were to do with leveraging.
Right.
And so this is borrowing to invest in the market with someone like yourself. So
right.
The advantage of this is that you're getting more money into the market now, so it has more time to grow. And it just gives you the chance to compound your earnings and things like that, right?
Right.
So there's... In general, when you're borrowing to invest, it creates a tax deduction for you, although you need to consult an accountant about that.
Yes.
And a planner to help you plan which investments to buy. But it does create any money you're borrowing to invest is tax deductible.
Right.
And there's a specific strategy you can use to do with this if you already have some assets and you want to make your mortgage tax deductible. That's called a Smith maneuver. Basically, if you have assets already and you have a mortgage, you sell your assets, you pay off your mortgage.
Okay.
You take a new mortgage and you buy some new assets. So now you've taken these assets you had that were they were taxable anyway. Mortgage was not tax deductible. Now you've taken a new mortgage, and because you used it to buy investments, which might be quite similar to your old investments, you've now created a mortgage which is taxed. The interest is tax deductible.
Right.
So because you pay so much interest on mortgages, that can be a good benefit for you.
Right.
Now you need an accountant.
You create an environment where you can write off some interest and save yourself on what that interest you are paying on your mortgage.
Yeah, and this is useful for certain specific people who have the right situation, but it is very useful for those people. And you really need to have a few people on your team. You need a financial planner, right, to plan and advise you on that kind of thing. But you also need someone who's going to help you borrow the funds in the most cost-effective way, like myself. Yeah. And you also need an accountant to make sure you claim everything correctly for taxes and track everything correctly. Right. It's very likely the government will ask questions, because you're doing something that not everyone does. So you just have to plan everything out carefully.
Okay.
Right?
So this is something you know about, and
I've helped people do this kind of thing, but again, in my field, I would be the person dealing with just the loan part of it, right?
Right.
So you need your other experts for sure.
Right. So for people interested in this, they can talk to you about it, and of course also consult, their advisor and their accountant to make sure that it's really going to be a strategy that fits for them. Yeah.
It's a really interesting strategy. Only good for certain situations. But those are some ideas in general about consolidating your debts and freeing up money, reducing your interest rates, just taking some home equity and putting it to work in the market. Yeah. Or specifically, if you have an investment portfolio and you want to try and make it more tax efficient, there's a few different ways you can use your house there.
Those are certainly some excellent strategies, and I hope everybody's walked away with some new ideas about using their equity in their home. And I certainly appreciate your time.
Thanks, Jill.
It's great chatting with you.
Yeah, good chat with you.
Hope to hear more. And Scott Rockins, Michelle Filipenko.
Have a good day.
Talk to you soon. What do you...